I think a byproduct of purity culture is shame culture. Because of that, folks have shame around engaging in their sexual health. And so the reason why, even when we go to churches and we have the condom jar out, okay, we will be there on Sunday and it's full. And then I come back in on Thursday, it's gone.
How did it get empty from Monday to Thursday when all y'all was here on Sunday and nobody touched the jar?
Over 250 people in the building. And that thing was full. But I come back on Thursday and it's gone.
Shame.
What's the answer to it? Shame.
What role does the church play in all of this, right? In my experience, the church has not done a good job at all. I feel like purity culture has put more people in danger than it has helped. And I believe purity culture is a cancer that needs to be removed so that we can have real conversations about how to navigate our sexuality safely and responsibly. So like purity culture, abstinence, I feel like the teaching of abstinence is one of the most abysmal failures of the church because barely anybody does it. Like I've seen data that suggests that like people who were surveyed, like 80 to 90% of them said they didn't wait till marriage. And that's just the people that admitted it. This was a self-disclosure survey. So 80 to 90% of the people admitted that they weren't able to maintain abstinence. So like, why do we keep teaching something that is such a failure and actually puts people in danger? That's my take on the position of the Black church. I think the church, not just the Black church, the church in general, if it wants to be an asset to this conversation about sexual health, it's going to have to rethink its sexual ethic completely.
I have two thoughts. So one of them is I want us to bring the fellowship hall back in the way that we actually had classes and community conversations down there back in the day before y'all just started hosting all y'all parties in the fellowship hall and charging people rent to have events down there. Back when we actually had community events, bring that fellowship hall back. Because down there, we need to be doing sexual health and having sexual health conversations. So let's talk about what it looks like to be connected to care. Let's talk about what it looks like to know your bodies. Let's have an anatomy class. I don't want you to figure out what a clitoris is at 22. Okay. I want you to know what that is before you get there. I want you to know that it's anatomically correct terms for all of your private parts. Don't be around here telling me that somebody touched your cookie because I don't know what that means. Did they actually touch your cookie or did they do something inappropriate? I want you to be able to know what is going on with your body and all these things. So I want us to bring back the fellowship hall that actually had community events and help people learn more about things other than reading the Bible. The Bible is great, but we don't only need to be reading the Bible at church. Praise the Lord. My second thought is, what y'all be talking about in these pulpits? Like everybody need a Let's Talk About Sex month, and I need y'all to be more expansive and creative in these stories that y'all telling when y'all preach. Okay, because first of all, some of y'all ain't monogamous. We can talk about that. Some of y'all ain't abstinent. We can talk about that. And ain't nobody out here following biblical marriages. When y'all giving these examples in y'all sermons about marriage and all these other type of things, where are the queer people? Where are the polyamorous people? Let's have more sexually liberative conversations in your sermon analogies, in your sermon scenarios, as you are in the pulpit. You are the face. People come on Sundays to listen to you talk. Talk about something.
A lot of these pastors can't have these conversations and preach these messages because their theology is all backwards.
You know, I think a byproduct of purity culture is shame culture. And because of that, folks have shame around engaging in their sexual health. And so the reason why, even when we go to churches and we have the condom jar out, okay, we will be there on Sunday and it's full. And then I come back in on Thursday, it's gone.
Yeah, you got to refill.
Help me understand. Most of the
How did it get empty from Monday to Thursday when all y'all was here on Sunday and nobody touched the jar?
Over 250 people in the building. And that thing was full. But I come back on Thursday and it's gone.
Shame.
What's the answer to it? Shame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shame. Right. And so the work of the church is freeing people, right, from the shackles, right, of conservative evangelical theology, which has taught us to hate our bodies,
Mm-hmm.
to be an adversarial relationship with our desires.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the job of the church to say, it's okay to grab a condom.
Yeah.
Please do. And it's like, okay, cool. If you are queer and you having sex, right, and you want to engage, let me tell you about DoxyPep, okay, which reduces the likelihood of you getting an STI or STD. Or you know what? Yeah, Black woman, I know you in your monogamous relationship with your straight man, and that is wonderful. That's great. And let me tell you about PrEP, the once daily pill which prevents HIV. Right. And by raising these possibilities and options and alternatives, right, we then help to undo some of that shame that folk feel around their sexualities. And I think T brought up a really good point, and that's this. Let's acknowledge when we see sex in the Bible.
Mm.
Can we just acknowledge that?
Mm. Come on, Ruth and
Can we
Boaz.
talk about like how and when sex happens? And
Come on,
I'm not
Tamar
just
and Judah.
talking about
And the ways we agree and disagree.
yes,
If don't just be leaving people out here to read that on their own when you don't want to talk about it at
yes,
all. Come on now, that's so irresponsible.
yeah, yeah. And if you go and tell people, oh well, why don't you go and find out what you like in the Bible? Huh? Right. And so in this moment, this is so dangerous because what you're doing is giving the pedophile permission.
Mm.
What you're doing is giving the sexual predator permission.
My.
What you're doing is giving the dehumanizing, degrading, abusive man who's married to his wife and abuses her sexually and otherwise permission, because I can find that in the Bible.
Woo, you sure can. It's a whole lot of it in there, brother.